Good morning. It is my honor and privilege to celebrate you, the class of 2019, not only for what you have accomplished to earn your place here today, but the future you will create because of the education you have received at BCIT. You might not know it yet, but there will come a time when you look back and realize what a gift your teachers, classmates, and the families that have supported you have given you. In each of you lies the potential to become the new generation of innovators and leaders that will create our future. And in doing so, you will face moments where your decisions will shape the world around you, for you, your family, your business, and our society. I'm privileged to share some of my personal leadership journey with you today, and some of my favorite pieces of advice I have heard or learned along the way. The title of my talk is Creating a Better Future. Every generation has faced a complex and changing world. Today, you can see that there are really two fundamentally opposing views of what that world economy will look like. One holds that the global economy has reached its limits and that we are entering a prolonged era of austerity with limited prospects for growth and generally lowering living standards. The other view is that innovation and ingenuity will foster a prosperous planet just as they have for the prior 200 years. I believe in the second view because as more people like you are educated, the more brain power can be devoted to innovation than ever before. 35 years ago, I sat in your place. My dreams for the future were modest. All I thought I wanted was a university education, a good home, a family, and a good job. At the time, my definition of a good job was based on how much money I would make. However, even my modest dreams would appear to be at risk. In 1980, the US headlines were full of the savings and loans crisis, fueled by long-term debt. Unemployment was 10.2%, inflation was 13.5%, driven by the price of oil, and the prime interest rate was 21.5%. Banks were failing, and the government had to step in to save them with a rescue package. Taxes were at an all-time high. The experts at the time told us we could not expect to live by the same standard as our parents. It appeared that the generations before me had made a mess of things. Do some of these headlines sound familiar? But there were good things too. My parents' generation also ushered in a whole new wave of technology and innovation. As an engineer, my own father worked on the very first calculator, the first video game Pong, phone and cable technology, and invented the bike rack that goes into your car hitch. In 1984, the year of my graduation, Steve Jobs released the Macintosh. In 1985, Microsoft launched Windows. And in 1987, the first 3D video game was created. In 1988, it was the digital cellular phone, Doppler radar, and Prozac. And in 1989, it was high-definition television. These gifts from the generation before me gave rise to the industries that many of my peers and you will make your careers in. At university, I was the first graduating class of a new major that applied technology to business through desktop applications. That is a very fancy way of saying I earned my first job because I knew how to build financial models in spreadsheets. So my first job was in financial services, industry marketing private placement offerings, known as tax shelters at the time. It was a valuable lesson in how capital markets worked. In 1986, I had the opportunity to help Howard Schultz raise funds for his Il Giornale coffee shops. I was employee number 3. Il Giornale would later purchase Starbucks coffee, and what I saw then was how coffee brought people together and created a sense of community. Howard called it the third place. Over the next 20 years, I led store development, operations, strategy, finance, and finally Asia Pacific, where I ran 10 countries across Asia. I launched company-owned stores in China and learned how to create the same brand, guest experience, employee experience, regardless of the uniqueness of each market. Traveling the world and getting the opportunity to work in both mature and emerging global economies was truly a gift. I was able to see China transforming its economy firsthand and witnessing individuals experiencing opportunities for wealth creation and freedom of choice that would transform their life and society. As much as I learned about other countries, I also learned to appreciate even more how the values we are raised with here in Canada are shaping the world. I saw that it was not the dream of acquisition and belongings that mattered. It is the pursuit of our values that matters most. Our values create opportunity, personal freedom, and give us a voice in society. In 2008, I joined Lululemon Athletica CEO. What I saw there was the need for healthy living in a world, and beautiful clothing and yoga created an access point to reduce stress and encourage healthy living. In 2014, I joined Luvo, a healthy food startup with the mission to provide convenient and delicious food that met the World Health Organization standards for nutrition. Our goal is to address the obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and hypertension illnesses that cost us our quality of life and drive over 30% of our healthcare system costs. Starbucks and Lululemon created world-class business models that are examples not only of financial and brand success, but they also demonstrate that business models guided by purpose and values can create great shareholder value. And I hope to accomplish the same with Luvo. During my 35 years in business, from that graduate with modest dreams, what I've learned is that while economic circumstances define our playing field, they do not define how we play. I learned my dreams were not about having material possessions, but about demonstrating that successful business can be built without compromising values. Each of you here today will have your own journey, but as I reflect on what shaped mine, here are a few pieces of advice for you to consider as you pursue your dreams and prepare to lead. Number one, love who you are. Your relationship with yourself sets the stage for all your other relationships. Be kind to yourself, and like all relationships, it takes work. 2, be yourself and embrace your weirdness. As Oscar Wilde said, be yourself, everyone else is taken. By the way, weird is wonderful. People with hobbies you have never heard of, like calligraphy, can build computers that make things beautiful. The story of the Macintosh. It means being something that makes other people stare, laugh, applaud, or boo. It's something we all need to cultivate. Weird has less competition, and it makes its own markets and rules. Be bold. There is a correlation between the quality of life and fear. Bravery is needed to have contrary opinions and to take unexpected paths. If you are not brave, you will be standing around the water cooler talking about the person who actually is. Be your own disruptor and innovate on purpose. Success comes from the ability to shift and create shifts. If everyone else is doing it, you are late to the party. There's a big difference between being agreeable and agreeing to everything. Don't confuse mandatory with what is merely expected. It is how you end up doing something you hate. People are connected to purpose. Leading a business into purpose and what is needed is the best way to create that market shift. Go exploring. Seek to explore yourself, your talents, your dreams. Take opportunities to go new places. Seek new ideas and opinions. Take a job overseas. Don't worry about not knowing what you want to do. Good people rise to the top in any organization. Your career is a journey, so enjoy the experience of learning new things and meeting new people. Be accomplished, not important. Ego gets in the way of ideas. If your arrogance is more obvious than your expertise, then you are someone people avoid. Leadership is about creating the space for others to perform. Understand the difference between greed and wealth. Do not take a dollar you have not earned, and remember that you are your word. Business is not about dominance and power. It is about value creation. To create value, you must live your values. Learn to fail. Later in his life, the poet David Frost said that if he could sum up his life with all the highs and lows, it would be these 3 words: it goes on. It's not so much that we must endure and accept a situation as its finality. It means that to get some sort of healing of a situation, to get out, we must embrace and go through ordeal wholeheartedly, with inquiry and desire for self-awareness. When we fantasize, when we bemoan every moment of our lives, then we have surrendered our ability and our responsibility to change things for the better. In 2019, my generation, similar to those that have gone before us, will have handed you both a mess and some amazing gifts. The headlines today capture the mess all too well, and it may indeed be the most daunting economic, environmental, and social situation we have faced. But I also want to remind you of the gifts, so I Googled the 2019 list of most significant inventions and headlines, and here is what I found. The list of best new gadgets don't change the world as much as they change the way we see it through virtual and augmented reality. Sleep Buds by Bose help us sleep by blocking noise, but let through crucial alarms. We have smart mattresses that track our movements, adjust to help us sleep in real time. Virtual car mirrors by Audi let you see blind spots. We have plant-based eggs and meat and lab-grown meat. Not so sure about that one. We have paving tiles that soak up rain and divert it from sewers to greenery and prevent flooding. A 3D printer that builds homes in impoverished neighborhoods for under $6,000. A banana that glows in the cold, radius zone mosquito repellents that save lives, an injectable gene that restores sight, and a continuous glucose monitoring system, an app that gives you real-time feedback on your insulin levels after you eat. A space probe capable of going to the sun, and companies that are planning commercial trips to Mars, cars that drive themselves, and a sharing economy. So, from how I see it, you have a lot more to work with than I did with my spreadsheet prowess on a new platform of desktop computers. So I am expecting really big things from you. My final piece of advice to you is to find what you are passionate about and start there. Loving what you do gives you the purpose and resiliency to be successful in your chosen field. It is what makes work not feel like work. It becomes your legacy to your family, your community, your country, and to the world. Purpose and passion are what inspire us to ignore the mess and to create a better future. Looking to your future, I suspect that you too will leave your mess for the class of 2054. But I have faith that you will also be leaving your amazing gifts that will create opportunities for their future. Because you are the focused, the driven, those that need to understand. You are the ambitious, the entrepreneurial, those who never stop innovating. You are the initiators, the uncompromising, and those who know it can be done sustainably. You are the relentless, you are inspired, and those who conquer complexity. You are a BCIT graduate. So congratulations, class of 2019. May you love well and find what it is you love to do. Thank you.